Well, hello, beautiful people. Look who we have here, Mrs.
Hello.
Meghan Mole.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing, gorgeous?
Good. How are you, my dear?
It's been an eventful couple of weeks, so I'm readjusting to a lot of stuff, which is why I haven't done very many videos because I have to
Mhm,
get the new house I'm in order. But
mhm.
other than that, everything's been great. I mean, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I've been busy, the same here. I haven't uploaded a video for like the last 5 days almost because I've been busy with my little one, with my dog having surgery. But I did mention and make an announcement on my community page that I will be doing a live later after your show, but I'll give them updates there. So just check out my community page later and you'll know when I'll be going live.
Okay.
Yeah, we got something really good to talk about
Yes,
that
of
people
course.
are going to want to be interested. Yeah.
Yes, of course, of course. Let me just say something here. Marvin, pásame trayendo a las dos, que no se te olvide. It's a guy who's going to come and pick me up, so I can see that he's giving comments there. So let's start. I wanted to start. If you guys have questions, please leave them there. I want to thank you all for coming, for supporting Meghan Small. Go subscribe to her channel. Go subscribe to her channel. My channel is free. If you want to join as members as well, thank you very much. And let's get going. Okay. So I want to share something here. I want to start with this. This is Tom Bauer talking to
Mhm.
Dan Wooden. Okay. This is just a little clip. And let me see what you have to say about that. Now that I've learned how to share, I'm so excited,
Isn't it fun? It makes
Well,
the lives more interesting.
I'm just terrified of technology. I really am. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. But let's see, and let's listen to this and see what you have to say.
Is spared not even the late Queen Elizabeth II, not even the late Princess Margaret. This is like a circular firing squad.
Well, it's a nasty, vulgar book, and it is deeply dishonest. And I think the product clearly of his therapist urging him to attack everyone, to assert himself, and to somehow cure him of all his maladies. Dan, I think it's very important to recollect exactly who Harry is, that he could allow his name to be put on such an appalling piece of fiction in many cases. Harry is a very unintelligent man. He failed to get into Eton on his first attempt. The second attempt, he was allowed in, although he'd really failed the exam. At Eton, he was bottom of the class every year. He got only a B and a D, a D and an E in his A-levels, whereas in the best school in Britain, most people got 3 A stars. When the examiners saw his application exam to get into Sandhurst, they were actually puzzled because it was a childish writing of an essay of a man of about 12 or 13 years old. And of course, he had to leave the army because he couldn't qualify in the exams to be promoted from captain to major. So you're dealing really with a very, very unintelligent man. And I think there's something even more dramatic which now needs to be revealed about Harry. He has for 25 years been a drug addict. On his own admission, he has taken many drugs. And I know for a fact that in Montesquieu.
Okay. So what do you make of that?
Well, that's nothing new, right? I think everyone knew that Harry was on illegal substances ever since he was falling out of pubs and stuff, remember? And fighting photographers. The thing that disgusts me the most, and some people might get upset with me saying this, but the fact that Harry can keep going forward after all of these allegations or all of these confessions of using substances and being allowed to stay in America and things like that. I'm just saying that to me, it seems like the royal family are complicit in his actions. And it looks bad on the royal family, considering the fact that Harry and Meghan are still listed on the website. And it seems like they are half in and half out, because what does it say under their biographies? That they are, pledging their work to the
actually,
king.
that's part of the life. That's part of the life that we'll go through that as well. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, the most disturbing thing is that Tom Bauer, who's not afraid to speak out, says that Harry has been a drug addict for 25 years while he was in the army or the military. How can he have been in the military if he was a drug addict? Because they do random tests, drug tests.
Well, it was said that he was always taken off base right before the tests would be done. So this just shows how much Harry has always been coddled and how he is still being coddled. I honestly, like, okay, I have nothing against Charles or anything, but I think Charles is a weak individual who still loves his son. He knows his son has problems. He knows his son has issues with substances. I think in a way that Charles is still paying for their security or taking care of them, because look, none of their plans have come to fruition. None of their deals have gone through well. But yet they're spending how much money on security? I mean,
Harry said $3 million in an interview.
yeah, where are they getting this money from? I had pointed out on my ex Twitter, whatever you want to call it now, the bald guy that is seen with Harry and Meghan a lot. His name, I think, is Jeremy Langers or something like that. He's the bald security man. You'll see him a lot. But he's been with Harry since Harry went to Las Vegas and did his whole naked romp in the hotel room, right?
Yeah.
But even before that, he's been security for Harry, and they're still using him. He's an ex-Met police officer. I'm supposed to believe that Harry and Meghan are paying his bills? I don't believe it for a second. I think that needs to be spoken about and it needs to be cleared up. Is Charles still paying for their security? Are the UK taxpayers paying for their security? Because in a sense, the taxpayers are paying the royal family and then the money goes from there, right? I mean, this is just the way that I see it. I don't know.
No, but please feel free to talk that. Yes, I agree with you, because if you look at Harry, he looks carefree. He doesn't care. He has no worries.
No. And if a person has no money issues, like you're living in a multi-million-dollar house that I know for a fact, you're spending at least $100,000 a year on landscaping, right? If they're living in that Montecito Olive Garden house, right? But if they're living somewhere else, how are you guys paying for your rent? How are you paying for your food? How are you paying for all the staff you have around you? All of this costs money. Where are they getting it from when there is no money coming in because their projects are all failing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing that I've been talking about, because, and people say, why do you keep talking about the same thing? Because they hope that we will stop because nothing happens. You know that there's a petition that a lot of people on my page, and I find this very disrespectful. I don't know if you find it too, but I don't know, because I look at when people say, oh, check out this other channel, check out, you know what? I find it so disrespectful, because I like, don't advertise. I can do that if I want to, but like you, I say, go check out Meghan's mole. Like I can do what, but people are, especially when they come in the comments and you're putting all the effort and stuff like that. And but the other person said so and so. Well, fine. That's fine. You can do that. But then go watch that person. There is a petition that they keep popping up in my channel about a GoFundMe petition about asking Harry to freely give up his titles.
They won't do that.
That is a big fucking waste of time, number one, because Harry has already addressed that point, saying that he's not going to give up his titles. What difference would that make? Remember that?
Yes, I do.
So instead of putting out that petition, why don't they put up the petition to Parliament, so Parliament can ask the King to remove Harry from the website, number one, and two, remove all his titles? Because for some reason, yes, it's up to the King to do that. It's up to the King. But people forget that this is a constitutional monarchy. And Parliament can definitely ask and put pressure on the King to do that.
They could, you know what? Parliament is too busy being crooked and stuffing their own pockets with money and things like that, that they don't even care about Harry and what his business and what's going on.
They could legislate the use of how they legislate the succession line, the line of succession. They could also legislate the use of titles. You know,
Yeah,
they can,
I agree.
and people keep saying, well, they're not working royals, because there was this moron who got up in Parliament and said, well, His Majesty had said that only working royals are counselors of state. Then why would he need to add Princess Anne and Prince Andrew?
Yeah.
If that is the case, automatically Harry and Andrew are out. So he would need to add. You know what I mean?
Yes, I totally agree. Yeah, I get it.
If it is true that it is written, so and I did a video and I said, put it in writing and define what a working royal is.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you can put it in the list who is a working royal. And people have come at me, oh, no, the king only has to say that and that becomes law. No, actually, that is not the case, because the succession, the counselors of state is actually legislated. There are laws for that. It is, you have to be domiciled, not to reside, domiciled in the United Kingdom, which is a completely different thing. And I've done many videos about it. And Harry is officially domiciled in the United Kingdom. And I've been arguing with this with people, because Harry, as you rightly said, and I'm going to share this with you to prove your point, sweetie, is this one here. Let me see.
Show me.
Here we go.
Oh God, this website makes me sick.
And this is where you and I go, the role of the royal family. And he says the role of the royal family, right? And he says members of the royal family work together to support the king in his official duties, right?
Yeah.
And then he says below, members of the royal family. So these are the members of the royal family who work together to support the king in his official duties, right?
Yeah.
And below says the members of the royal family. These are the members who are currently working, and I stress this out, together to support the king in his official duties. And guess who do we have here?
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Oh, and now they're checking this because apparently there was an issue. So now they take your ID and everything when you go into their site. It reminds me very much of Archwell. And
wait,
it says
you got to put in your ID information now when you go on their website?
No, because they claim that it was hacked. Now, did you just see when I went into the page? They're basically taking your details.
They're like copying your IP addresses and
everything,
things.
Just like Archwell.
Okay.
So this has been updated, and people kept
Very
saying
CCP-like, huh?
Yes, exactly. And this is recently updated. People keep saying, "Oh no, this is not updated." You're telling me that one of the most prominent websites in the world, an official website of the head of the state, because that's what the king is, the head of the state of the United Kingdom and Commonwealth. They don't have people updating this, so they have updated it because this is a
Paula. Sorry. You remember that when Prince Philip passed away, it was updated with quickness. Remember how quick he was removed off the site? Everything. It wasn't even the next day.
It was
this, I totally get it, and it irks the living bejesus out of me. Like this is like Charles has bent over backwards and Harry and Meghan have their half in, half out deal, because it says they're balancing their time between the UK and North America, continuing to honor their duty to the king, the Commonwealth, and their patronages. How are they?
The most important part here, Molly and Meghan, it says the Duke and Duchess have stepped back as senior members of the royal family. It doesn't say they are no longer working members of the royal family. That's a completely different sentence. A senior member and a working royal are two completely different things. And in fact, if they were no longer working royals, they wouldn't be on the website, just like Eugenie and Beatrice.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, and you see that sentence that you just read, they're balancing their time between the United Kingdom and North America, continuing to honor their duty, right? But if you go,
what have they honored to the king so far? Because all I know is that Harry, like, basically wanted to take out his father with an aircraft that he thought he could manage with his brain, right?
Yeah. But look at this. If you go to Harry's biography, it'll say their official residence. This was updated about 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is Frogmore Cottage. But as announced in January 2020, this was also changed. The Duke and Duchess will spend the majority of time in North America, following their decision to step back as senior members of the royal family, not as working members of the royal family.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can still be a senior member. You can be, for example, the people who are working members of the royal family are not senior, some of them, but are working members of the royal family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Here they're saying they're senior members, they're not working members. And the reason why is that I learned the hard way that in law, it's words that matter, because they will come back and say, when did we ever say that they were no longer working members of the royal family? And of course, they never said that. They have never said that Harry and Meghan are no longer working members of the royal family.
Yeah, it's just like it's all semantics, right? It's all semantics with Harry and Meghan. It's just like when they went on Oprah and did the whole they didn't want my baby because he might be a different color, blah blah. And then when Harry goes on to Tom Bradby and literally goes, "Well, did Meghan say they were racist? Did she use the word racist?"
Exactly. You know, that's exactly.
And they're like, yeah, but she didn't say they were racist. Like they play games with their words. Like, yeah.
Exactly. You know that I was still in Norway when I did that video.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Norway, and I remember I said this, the way they're playing with words, because I criticized Oprah and Meghan, because I criticized the fact that Meghan, when Oprah says, are you saying it's because of the skin of the baby's color?
Yeah.
And Meghan goes, if you say so. Remember how they were playing with words? And I remember I said, oh, this is to have plausible deniability, because they don't want to come out and say it, but it's implied so heavily that everybody knows what we're talking about. And that's defamation.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't even have to say it, but if it's implied and everybody gets, because the very next day, it wasn't even the British tabloids or the press that had it. It was the US tabloids who had, oh, you know, who's the racist royal and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I get it. It's what is it called? Defamation by implication or something.
Exactly. And that wasn't even implication. You know, you got the point.
Yeah, 100%. And the crazy part is that if you look at these kids that we are supposed to believe are artificial and Invisibet, they are whiter than William and Catherine's kids. But yet you're talking about, oh, my baby's skin color, blah, 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 like whatever. But here's the thing.
Curiosity. It's curiosity. You know, people are curious about it.
Well, that's why I keep bringing up the whole fake pregnancy and moon bump issues and stuff like that, because why are there two illegitimate children, one of them that no one has ever seen? Nobody in the royal family has ever seen Lilibet. Regardless of what Harry and Meghan's PR want to say and claim, nobody's met Lilibet. But apparently Meghan writes a letter to Charles and he writes her back, and all of a sudden they've got titles as prince and princess. It's an absolute clown show, in my opinion. You don't see this kind of circus acts with any royal families in all of Europe or anywhere else. But the British royal family, since Meghan has joined, has turned it into a complete circus act. And I don't understand why they are allowing something like the line of succession, or there to be two illegitimate children within the line of succession. I don't get it. Like, what is the point?
Yeah. And the thing, you know what the thing is, that before, and I've said this many times in my channel, before there used to be a law that the Home Secretary had to be present during all royal births with two other people, and they would sign that, you know, testimony that they were witness to the birth and the baby. But when the Queen gave birth to Charles, that was removed. But it was with the understanding that they would present it on an easel with the doctor's signatures and everything, right? Yeah. So the way that Harry and Meghan are getting out of it, and I get a lot of sugar telling me that is, well, there's no law that says they have to, but it's protocol. And the law was removed because voluntarily they were going to do that.
Yeah.
And we're with Harry and Meghan, they're not doing it at all.
I mean, come on, like Archie's announcement didn't even have any signatures on it. I put up a post on friggin' X the other day asking, why has it been that every single royal birth in history, everyone, from even Princess Margaret to the Queen to everyone, anytime they have a birth, all of their announcements have 4 signatures. The Queen has it, Princess Margaret has it, Princess Anne has it. Everyone has 4 signatures on their birth announcement. The only person who doesn't have any signatures is artificial.
And not only that, they got the time wrong. That's the only birth that they've gotten the time wrong and the details wrong from Palace.
Yeah.
You know, and
that was a total, it was nuts one. Remember the Palace had said that Meghan went into labor, and then 20 minutes later, it was like, oh, they're actually home with the baby. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, and remember what Harry wrote on Spare?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of
that
course.
It took 2 hours with the driving back and forth included. Yeah. Her jumping on a ball, being put on a path, and then induced with an epidural. It took 2 hours, and we were back home.
They were home within 2 hours of doing all that. Like, are you kidding? First birth? Like, my first time that the first and last time that I ever have a kid, like, I had over 19 hours of labor. It was the worst thing in the world. I could tell you from the moment I started having pains, I could give you full details. The fact that Meghan never mentions any details or anything, what she went through, the pain, it's very suspect to me. And the fact that
Sorry, go ahead.
I said the fact that the royal family are okay. Well, I don't know if they're okay with it, but with them constantly, with them not
they're going along, even if they're not okay, they're going along.
They're complicit. Like, how are you gonna let Harry and Meghan show a doll to the world and claim it's their newborn?
And you know what's so funny? It's that I was thinking about that. It's like, you know how Meghan talks about how she went and had a poop in the woods, right?
Yeah.
Woman. This is a woman who goes and gives too many details. Yet there's not even one little funny story about her with her pregnancy, you know, her morning sickness, or you know how she felt uncomfortable, how you're always, you know what I mean? Nothing. It's like no symptoms. And Harry wrote very graphic details in his book Spare. Yet not one story about him having to grab Meghan's sardines or anything like that. You know, nothing whatsoever. It's like, you know.
Well, there was that one story at the very beginning, if you remember, that they were sending out the pilots, the royal pilots, to go get them like curry and stuff for Meghan's cravings, and then the pilot went and quit the next day. Remember that at the very beginning of Archie, when she claimed she was pregnant with Archie, they were sending out the helicopter pilots from the palace to go pick up food for them, and then they ended up quitting.
I know, I didn't hear those stories.
Yeah.
They used to do that in Canada. But
I'll send you the link. Hold on, I can find the story and I'll send it to you here.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, but the thing is that they don't talk about it in the book. Oh, I remember, you know, when Meghan was heavy, how uncomfortable, her back pain. I mean, this is a woman who was able to go all the way on to the floor to be crying, heavily pregnant, you know, because remember the book Spare, she's always on the floor crying.
Yeah. You know what was the big red flag for me, Paula? The fact that Meghan didn't even merch a single pregnancy item. Like no stretch mark cream, no maternity clothes, no like belly bands or anything like that, no back pain medicine, no like I don't know, holistic therapy. She didn't merch a single damn thing. And that told me a lot right there. For someone who likes to show off every single thing and like merch here and there, the fact that not even just a cream, not even like a stretch mark cream, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
No, nothing. And it's because she wants to preserve the privacy of the doctor. Actually, the doctors by law, or used to by law, had to present their names to bear witness to the birth of the child.
Yeah.
So they you know, this is why, you know, all the doctors who give birth to and they actually like to be the advertisement that they were there and gave birth to a royal child.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. Yeah. The other big red flag that I knew Meghan didn't give birth to the archofficial was like, she wants to do everything that Diana did, right? She thinks she's Diana 2.0. Why the hell wouldn't you want her photo taken in front of the Lido wing? Like with all those, we saw all the photographers William and Catherine had when they were presenting their little ones, right? You're telling me a woman who is so obsessed with cameras, who loves Diana, doesn't want to be standing on the same steps where Diana once stood and present her child? They had to do it inside of Windsor Castle a few days later, right? And just one photographer was allowed, their own photographer. That was it.
Yeah. I mean, the problem for me is that, okay, they do all those nasty things, but the royal family are going along with it.
They are.
And this is the thing that I have an issue with. So for those of you who like to come to my channel and try to promote that link of GoFundMe page to ask Harry to give up willingly his titles, why don't you ask the YouTubers who are doing that to instead do a parliamentary petition asking Parliament to ask Charles to because at the end of the day, the royal website represents the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, because it's basically for the head of states. That website is there not for a family hold down that Harry's having a barbecue or William had a barbecue here. It's to present all the official duties of the working royals and the monarchy that they're doing on behalf of the United Kingdom and the entire Commonwealth.
Yeah.
You know, if they want to have a private or a very public family, like a familiar website, that's different. But the monarchy's website is only about the duties, the court circulars, the thing that they're doing for the monarch, as part of the monarchy for the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with Harry, Meghan, or non-working royals.
Yeah.
You know, but instead of doing that petition, request that these YouTubers do that petition, because this is what people don't understand. It is a constitutional monarchy, not an absolute one. Yes, justice is imparted in the king's name, but he himself is not justice. He cannot go into a trial and he's not judge and jury. It's just in name only.
Yeah.
You know, and by the way, the king, even though the king has sovereign immunity, he can be removed. Let's not forget Charles I, who was executed because the king can commit treason.
Yeah.
You know, and isn't it befitting? I don't know if you know who the first Duke of Sussex was and what happened with him. Do you know the story of him?
I read the story a long time ago, but if you want to refresh my memory, go ahead.
Okay, the first Duke of Sussex married a lady who was not suitable, and they had 2 children. Mm-hmm. But the monarch said that she didn't meet the requirements because she was a Catholic back then. So the marriage was not acknowledged, and neither were the children. So the children were never in the line of succession because they were considered illegitimate. And 2, the woman was never the Duchess of Sussex because she did not meet the requirements because she was a Catholic. So Meghan is technically the first Duchess of Sussex, but how interesting that the 2 children back then, they had the backbone to say, hey, wait a minute, these 2 children don't meet the requirements in the line of succession. And under our laws, they're not recognized as legitimate. So therefore, they can't be part of the line of succession.
No, you're right. You're right.
But the similarities, isn't it? Except at this time, not only are they in the line of succession without any legal documents, but Meghan dictated through People magazine or Vanity Fair, I don't know which one, that now Lily and Archie are prince and princess.
Yeah,
and
that's ridiculous.
4 hours later, it was updated in the royal website.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. This is why I say Charles doesn't have a backbone. But I want to ask you something. Since we're talking about censorship and all that, what is your opinion about Harry and Meghan and sticking their nose in this whole Australian censorship thing that they donated money to?
It's actually quite disturbing. I also know that Harry is buying part of a newspaper in the United States. And let's not forget that right now in the UK, they just passed the law. Parliament is presenting a law that gives Ofcom a hell of a lot of censorship, and it's waiting royal assent. But from what I see, Charles is going to give the royal assent, and I really do believe that this was a trade-off, because Charles shouldn't have been crowned king because he forfeited his right to be king when he married in a civil ceremony. So I do believe that Charles has traded a lot of things to Parliament. You know, for example, once that Ofcom things goes through, Ofcom can censor anything.
Well, I don't know. You're in Canada, right?
I'm Canadian. Yeah, I'm not in Canada right now, but I'm Canadian. Yeah, and I'm worried. I actually did a video, and I wasn't alive with Sean Atwood and Ron and Samantha Markle. And I said, I'm very concerned that this is going on, because then next is Canada. I know that they're doing this thing in Australia. And I know that Harry's in the Aspen Institute in the United States, who are aiming for censorship under the disguise of kindness on the internet.
Yeah. The reason why I'm asking, and the reason why I'm bringing it up now, is because, hold on, I'm trying to send you a link here. Basically, the CRTC, I don't know if you know, right? The Canadian Radio, Television, and Telecommunications Commission has taken a major step forward to modernize Canada's broadcasting framework. So basically, Trudeau is saying that anyone who's on YouTube or podcasting or anything like that, they have to go and give their information and what they're talking about to the government. And if it's good conversation, then positivity and blah, 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 then you can go ahead. Yeah, they're doing the same exact thing. I'm going to pop the link in the chat here so other people can look at it.
Yeah, and the thing is, Meghan Small, that Canadians don't take things sitting down. I mean, we got a parliamentary petition to tell that we were not going to pay for Harry and Meghan's security, and within a week there were over 80,000 signatures. And actually, it was more. And now they took to the streets about the LGBTQT thing, you know. So, and Trudeau is in very thin ice. I don't think Trudeau is going to be there for a very long time. Emma Marshall, thank you for loving City. I love her too. You know, and you and I, our channels, we both know that we go through a hell of a lot of censorship. And this is what people don't understand. You know, people think, oh, Paula, why do you do this? But because I get alerts. And sometimes I don't even get alerts. And sometimes I get completely like a copyright strike, you know? And not only that, I mean, and then you have to fight, you talk to somebody else, you know, and they think we're millionaires making lots of money.
It's so funny when I get comments from like the squatties, like, oh, this is your main source of income. This is your meal ticket. And it's like, no, you think the few $100s that I make off of my YouTube channel means anything? And even if I do, it goes into a fund for my son's college, like forever, like for his future. Doesn't like YouTube isn't my only stream of income, but it's a nice little extra bit to have. But they think that our lives revolve around it because, well, not only do theirs, but they're also on welfare, most of them. So they think we're all like them.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I work at a farm, you know, and all the little money that I make on YouTube goes to the school that I support, because all the donors have left the country or they've been kicked out of the country. So it's basically all on me. You know, and on top of that, I get harassed, and to me, it's infuriating. I mean, I gotta give the Sugars a lot, because I mean, they raised $100,000 for Lilibet's birthday to give to Harry and Meghan. Yeah, you know, and it's like, how can they do that? You know, like
that's one. I hate giving positive vibes to the Sugars, but that's one thing that I've got to commend them on, because they're good at coming together and getting money for whatever cause. But I know now that they're not sending the money through Archewell and to the project, that now they're sending the money straight to the projects, apparently. I think
well, they usually put it through Archewell.
Because with Kaboom, wasn't it the Sussex Squad that gave the money?
When it was the Sussex Squad. That I think Meghan Markle and Harry phoned them to say thank you to them.
Oh, God.
And talking about the charity, I want to share something with you, because we have to touch upon this. You know, I love your input about this.
I wanted to ask you one more thing about the censorship thing, if you don't mind. How do you feel about Prince Harry being... let me word this properly so I don't get you into trouble.
I'll go first. Say whatever.
So basically, what I'm annoyed at is that Harry is a foreign national in the States, right? He's not a citizen. He doesn't have a green card. Who knows what the hell his oh God, what's the word I'm looking for?
His agenda?
Yeah. Who knows what his agenda is? But the thing is that how is a foreign national who has admitted to drug use in the military, who has admitted to drug use while in the country, and he's not a citizen, how is he behind the scenes able to give money to try and censor Americans and other people without having, say, Charles backing him? Do you think Charles is complicit with things like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way an idiot like Harry, because we just did the video of Tom Bauer saying that Harry has below average intelligence. I really do believe that this guy has Forrest Gump IQ.
Yeah, definitely. I think
You know?
Harry's the kind you can stick a carrot on a stick in front of him and he'll run around for hours.
Yeah, I really do think that Harry has Forrest Gump IQ.
Yeah.
Okay. And even Forrest Gump was smarter, because at least Forrest Gump knew the difference between right and wrong, and did what was right, and and try to live an honorable life. Harry's not. But I do believe that given the what's it called, the World Economic Forum, that's going on, that Charles is heavily involved in. Now that Ofcom is being given, Parliament passed the law. And I think people should be outraged at Parliament, and they should protest this and ask Parliament to not pass that law, because people forget that these people in Parliament are elected.
Yeah.
And that you can take to the streets, and they say, well, you have to ask permission. Well, just say that you're going to demonstrate, put it on the internet, and it'll take a hold of it, and and you'll protest that, and you will ask for the people to give a referendum, because they're passing all these back laws without the people's input.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that if these people had run their campaigns and we're gonna do censorship and give all the power to Ofcom, they would have never been elected to Parliament.
Yeah.
So people take to the streets and protest and say, what the fuck? Censorship is not in our best interest. It's never good when you give power to an institution that's corrupted to control free speech.
Yeah.
But when there are already laws for that.
And that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, and then they're not doing. People are not people, because they make you feel that it's one person. But I keep saying to people, they're strengthening numbers. They're strengthening numbers. So I do believe that Harry's been planted in there. This is why Charles still has him on the website.
Yeah.
This is why Charles still has him on the website, and Parliament is not doing anything, because Parliament is the body that regulates the behavior of the royals in the monarchy.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the moment back in when they had that Sandringham summit and Harry and Meghan wanted to step back, well, then that's when they should have been removed from the website. You want to step back as senior royals? That's it. None of this, we'll wait a year and see how everything goes for you, and then we'll come back and reconvene. No, you guys wanted to step back. Everything should have been taken at that point.
That's what I've been saying. I thought that because they were given 1 year, right? Until March 31st. I was sure that on April 1st, that was removed. They would have been removed. And I've been talking about this all the time. And I get these very influential YouTubers, instead of saying right to Parliament, it's up to the king because they volleyball you. Let me tell you, if people are serious about this and take to the streets and say, we're not going to fucking elect you again, they will change the laws, because it still hasn't got royal assent. And even if it does get the royal assent, because Charles is a pussy, he probably will sign it, because God knows how many deals he made in order to be crowned and have Camilla be crowned as well.
Yeah.
I agree. So that's where we are right now. And we have Harry in the United States, an admitted drug addict by his own words and his own book. And we have the United States, Biden refusing to do the freedom of thing. We have Harry, and this is very important, people. I don't know how you feel about this, man, but he lost, and I'm using this inverted thing, lost the right to pay for his police protection when in the United Kingdom, right? But he is going on the right to take to court the government as to why they removed the protection. The free protection. So actually, in the long run, and if you notice, they said that they were going to talk about it in September, that something was going to be said in September, right? Nothing has come out.
Nothing. I've been waiting for updates. Nothing at all.
You know, because they said that they were gonna that there was gonna be a decision made, because he was given the right to challenge the decision of getting free security.
Yeah.
Or not free security, taxpayers funded security.
Yeah. He said he deserved that. He deserved to have it.
And while we're on the topic of charity, I'm just going to show you something here, because I think it's important that now you talked about it, I'm going to talk to you about this. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry pumped thousands from royal charity into limited company. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have pumped thousands of pounds originating from royal charity into a limited company owned by the Duke. And I'm going to show you which other one that is, which one it is. Okay.
Did they ever pay their outstanding bills that they had in the UK, or no, those are still outstanding? Because remember, they owed money to Companies House and all that stuff.
Yep. The couple's nonprofit organization, Sussex Royal and Sustainable Travel Initiative, Travelers, received a huge payout last year from the charity they run with Prince William and Kate Middleton. The Royal Foundation was jointly run by the Cambridges and Sussexes until Meghan and Harry split from it last summer. And finalizing the separation involved a payout to the Sussex-owned charities. An unrestricted grant of £145,000 was given to the Sussex Royal to facilitate the setup of the new charity, and $144,901 of grants were paid to Travelist. So basically, the majority of the money, instead of going to Sussex Royal, it went to Travelist. And they only left, let me see, $899 and 899 pounds. Oh, not even that, 89 pounds on Sussex Royal. And the reason why I'm so angry about this, and I want to hear your opinion, is because the Charities Commission was involved. And they determined the following: that the Royal Foundation had acted correctly transferring the funds to Sussex Royal.
Yeah.
But Sussex Royal could have done a better way of reporting how they used that money, but they didn't take it any further.
No, of course not. They're super vague.
What happened was illegal, because the laws in the United Kingdom about charities is very strict. If, for example, they determined the right part, that the Royal Foundation acted correctly and they transfer this and it's for this purpose alone. But if the charity receiving the money doesn't use the money for that purpose, that's committing fraud. And that is a criminal offense, because that's money laundering.
Yeah. You guys, the UK has very, very strict rules against that. I mean, a lot more stricter than the US and stuff.
But nothing's happened. They didn't do anything. And you know what I mean? This is like the bags of cash that Charles received. By the way, and I repeat myself, and I get so much hatred. You know how many people unsubscribe when I say this? It is not standard practice in the Middle East to get bags of cash. Yeah. Not since a worldwide thing of $10,000. Any transaction above $10,000 had to be registered. In the Middle East, they're very, very careful with that, unless, of course, you're a drug lord or doing something completely illegal that you don't want your money traced.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, but what do you think that they haven't, when you say that they haven't been investigated, these are the things that really upset me.
Well, we know that Harry and Meghan are being covered. It's just like how Meghan got away with lying to the high courts, right? Anyone else would have gotten some kind of sentence. They would have been slapped on the wrist, but nothing. They got nothing. They're obviously being protected by Charles. I don't know why Charles is such a wet wipe for some reason. Like, he has no backbone. I know people will hate me for this, but it's the truth. I think I personally think that Charles is paying for Harry and Meghan. I think he's still giving them money to keep them afloat, just like the £4.5 million he gave them when they went away. I feel like he's still paying them off to keep Harry and his mouth shut about saying anything about Camilla. I think Charles is so wrapped around protecting Camilla and her image that he will do anything, even getting walked all over by his own son and getting blackmailed.
Now that you're in the States, what is the feel about what happened? Because you know that Kevin Costner's thing, and then Kevin Costner's thanking people and posting a picture of Harry and Meghan Markle, and then another one with Oprah and Ellen. What do you think that was about?
I don't think it was, to be honest, I don't think it was about anything. I think it was just Meghan was there due to WME putting her there. And I feel like, the thing is that when you hang around rich people or at an event, or if you're at an event, then people are going to be cordial, right? They're not going to make a scene. They're going to talk to you. They're going to be nice and friendly. And Meghan Markle is a total coattail rider. She rides people's coattails to get where she wants. She probably just went to Kevin Costner's event, mingled with these women, and posed for a couple photos just so it seems like she's hanging out with them and they're friendly with each other. But I bet you the minute later after Meghan was gone, those women were talking shit about her and talking trash about her. Can you believe this bitch comes over here and poses and takes photos with us? I don't believe anything. Then it was just WME trying to get a little bit of good PR for their disaster of a client. That's all I think. I don't think it was anything substantial. I don't think it's like, oh, Kevin Costner and Meghan Markle are going to get together and work on something big. No, I don't think it's anything like that at all. I think WME just needed to show their client, hey, we can still get you some good press. And that's about it. Because realistically, what have WME done for Meghan since she's brought them on? Nothing. What projects has she been in? What commercials? I mean, beyond just going on stage and making a total ass out of herself, I don't see what WME have done for her. She's a complete disaster.
Yeah, but I'm just surprised that Kevin Costner lent himself for that, because I don't know if I'm going to see if I can put this up here, because he did post the pictures of just Meghan and Harry. And Cristiano, ahí está Cristiano. I love Cristiano. Wait, let me give him. I love Cristiano.
But the photo that he posted to his Instagram page, Paula, like when I look at that photo, like, okay, it would be so, like, the way I see it and interpret that photo, okay, Meghan and Harry are in a photo with Kevin Costner, but look at the way Meghan is staring at Kevin. He's looking in the other direction. She's all googly-eyed over him, and Harry just looks like he took a huge dump in his underwear and he needs to go to the toilet. Like, he looks pissed off. But Meghan, like, it just shows how silly look at how he has his hand around Ellen. Like, he's actually friendly with these women, but with Meghan, he was avoiding the whole time. And Meghan in that photo looks really silly. Like, look at her making eyes at another man. And he's put that photo on his Instagram page so everyone can see it. She looks so classless and trashy. Would you be posing like that, staring at another man if your husband was next to you? I wouldn't be. I'm just saying.
No, I understand what you said, but I really do think that they did have these conversations with WME, because if you look at it, Oprah has taken a hard hit at her reputation. The same thing for Ellen. So to me, and Meghan as well. So to me, is that they're using Kevin Costner because Kevin Costner is very popular and very well respected and loved. And I do believe that because Kevin Costner is one of their people, he did agree to. Because there were so many pictures of them, For example, it could have been Kevin Costner with the responders instead of Meghan and Harry, and then Oprah and Ellen. These are 3 people or 4 people, Harry, Meghan, Oprah, and Ellen. All are accused of bullying. Their image is in the shits.
Yeah.
And they choose those 2 specific pictures to pose.
The bully brigade. Check out all these bully brigades, the rejects that have been kicked out of Hollywood. Check out the reject brigade, huh?
No, but I'm serious. So I do think that, I don't know why Kevin Costner did it. People are, I've seen some people that say, well, he's a millionaire too. But, people don't understand that people like Kevin Costner, they have a lot of money and assets.
Yeah.
Tied up in assets. They're not very liquid. They have to pay taxes, a lot of taxes in the California. So he even talked about it in his divorce proceedings, because his now ex-wife was talking about it, right? And he says, people think I have all this money. I don't. Everything is basically I use it, and then you have to do the upkeep.
I say Kevin Costner is asset rich and money poor.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. He's got tons in assets. He's got tons in housing. You know what I found hilarious about the whole event? I love that they had the event outside at his polo field so that Meghan Markle wouldn't be allowed to go inside his home. Could you imagine?
Yeah, and apparently Harry's gonna be hosting a polo match in his field pretty soon.
Oh God. Could you imagine like being a prince? Like Harry has really sunk down to the gutter. I always say that the person you marry should elevate you, right? Like William and Catherine, they've been elevating each other since they've gotten together. They are a perfect team, but yet Harry has been dragged down to Meghan's level, right down to the gutter.
Oh, they're even below now.
Even below, worse than parameciums.
Yeah.
Worse than pond scum.
No, yeah, pond scum. It reminds me of Shark Tales. But I can see you're a mom of a young kid because I remember Shark Tales. I remember that you're below pond scum. When they're talking. But yeah, and I wanted to show you something because we're just talking about this a lot. I follow this. I watch some YouTube in there. I follow this famous plastic surgeon who discusses the plastic surgeries that celebrities have had. And he did one of Meghan Markle.
Okay.
I was absolutely shocked. I'm actually going to do a video and I'm going to call him out.
Yeah.
Because he goes, well, he used a picture of Meghan of about 2 years ago. And then he used a picture recently. And then you know what he concluded? That she may have had some dental work done.
That's it?
I kid you not.
That's it? That's it? Just the dental work?
That she could have, and maybe. Who knows? But he used a picture of 2 years ago. So I'm going to show you something because I have to share beautiful people with this, especially, now that we have Meghan Small here and it's funny.
Show me.
He talked. Meghan Markle had already had her dental work here, right? Yeah. Because we know that.
Yeah. So her dad paid for her dental work.
Yes. Her dental work, her first or second dental work. But look at the distance between her nose and here.
The top of the lip.
One of the things that the plastic surgeon said is that Meghan Markle had this very defined thing here, in the middle.
Yeah.
That is natural. But that is not natural because you can see she had nothing here.
I'm going to tell you something, okay? I had my nose done about 10 years ago. Paid for like the best plastic surgeon in my area to do it. And yeah, that's the exact thing. Like I never had the perfectly sculpted top lip where it dips like that. Right afterwards, I have that perfect definition. Because what the doctor has done is that in between the nostrils, what they do, the distance, they will cut there, right? Between the nostrils, and then they bring in those nostrils to give her a more tweaked shape in her nose, make it smaller and more refined. And when they do that, the stitching that they put in between gives you that perfect top lip. And I have that too. So yes, she definitely got her nose done, not once, not twice,
but many times. But the doctor said that can only be obtained naturally. So I actually left a huge comment in his thing. I said, I used to follow your channel, but now I can see that somebody's paid you because you used a picture of 2 years ago. Because this is a picture, the one in the middle of Meghan Markle while she was on Suits. She had like the third plastic surgery there, right? You can see the shape of her face because she used to put Botox around here to give that really hard edge thing. Yeah. Remember? Yeah. Look at the distance between here and here. And this is the one at Invictus this year. Yeah. Look how much shorter it is. You can see that the nostrils here are more exposed. Here, it's more covered.
Well, she has more filler in her lip too.
Obviously, but you can see the distance here is shorter. Look at the nose, it's completely different here because here you can see you know, you can see that, you know, the little hair here, you can't see them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and here, look at her lips. Look how bigger her lips are. Look at the shorter distance. Look at the shape of the eyes. The eyes are bigger instead of smaller, and they're rounder, which means an eye lift or, you know, or some sort of thing. But what do you think?
You know that they do thread lifts, right? Where they can lift your eyebrows without even surgery. Basically, they put like a thread in there and basically lift the thread. It's basically non-surgical, and it gives you an eye lift. What's Siri getting all upset about? Siri's probably scared of these photos you've put up, Paula. It's like, take these damn photos down.
You hear her? It's just that, you know, there's a lady passing by, so she's barking at her. I apologize for that.
I hear her.
But this is the thing about her, that I'm shocked that they're using this very well-renowned plastic surgeon. And he said that the most that Meghan Markle could have had done, it's her teeth.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, here she's very young, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look how marked this side of her face is right here.
Yeah.
Let me see this here. This side of her face. Look how marked this side of the face is. The older we get, the more pronounced it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. And I have pictures of her smiling that big, you know. But the reason why I wanted to show this is because I wanted to show these pictures is because of the space here, you know, and the width of the nose, everything, you know, like the shape of her eyes, you know. Look, and this is with heavy makeup here that she has. Her eyes look bigger than here.
Yeah.
And rounder. The shape is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
He says this isn't. He said this. She's a naturally beautiful woman who hasn't had any Botox or any fillers. He said that.
Well, we all know that's a lie.
Cordelia saying that she got the same critique from the surgeon. I agree with you. Yeah, I was shocked because I follow him. You know, and I was like, what? It can't be true. It can't be true. And I wanted to show you this. I wanted to go to your Twitter page because I love your Twitter page, and I think we should discuss some of the things that you put because they're actually true.
Did you see the recent one that I put up about the Manson eyes?
Yes, I did actually. It's right here. Can you see it?
God, I'm such a jerk sometimes.
To me, it's this one because you know that I paid a genealogist in Florida to do her genealogy.
Mm-hmm.
But now she's too scared to come online because of the hatred and everything, right?
Of course.
And she doesn't want me to post because, you know, each of the pages that she gave me, this lady has a doctorate in African heritage, by the way, genealogy. So I have to figure out a way of how to be able to show that Meghan Markle, it's 9% Black.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely from Sierra Leone and not Nigeria, because Nigeria, the majority of people that were brought to the United States were from Sierra Leone, Congo, and 4 other nations, not Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay. And there was immediate mix when she was brought to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Black and white.
Yeah. And
most of her family, most of her heritage is mostly mixed. And I spoke with the lady and I said, how can she be 43% from a Nigerian tribe in that she claims to be? Because being Nigerian is not a DNA thing. It would have to be from some tribe in Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
And then she said the only way that she could do that is if you know, her mother or grandfather was directly from one of the tribes in Nigeria.
Which I don't think.
No. And we're talking grandfather.
Yeah.
We're talking if, for example, Doria's father had come directly from a tribe in Nigeria and marry her mother, who is also mixed race. And even then, it wouldn't be as high as 43%.
But even, you know what I find very interesting? That nobody from Doria's side of the family has ever said anything. I wonder, a part of me almost wonders if maybe Doria threatened them And this is just speculation. This is just a thought of mine. It's not like she's done it or anything. But I almost wonder if Doria has threatened people in her family to not say anything to the press. Because you do know, like, about the sinister way that Doria's father passed away, right?
No?
You don't know?
Well, I heard he had an accident or something like that.
Well, that's apparently the story that Doria gave. So what had happened is that Doria's father owned a house and her brother was helping take care of him and stuff at the time. And Doria's father was apparently taking the dog for a walk, tripped over the leash and got some kind of trauma to his head and passed away in the hospital 3 days later. Now, the thing is that when the autopsy report came out, and I have all this, I should make a video about this actually. When the autopsy report came out, apparently Doria was the only person there who could give the story, and her story was that her father had tripped, but the autopsy report said that he had blunt force trauma to his head. Yeah, and the leash
investigated.
And the leash that he supposedly tripped over was only wrapped around his ankles. But when you're walking a dog, wouldn't the leash be around your hand too? That's a thing, right? And then what had happened is that Doria's brother and Doria ended up getting this house. They went to court. Court said that they had to share the house. I don't know what had happened afterwards. Something happened and Doria's brother signed everything over to her and he's never said anything since then. And that was the house that they lived in because Doria before that was living in a condo with someone. She had claimed bankruptcy like 3 or 4 times.
You know what I think it is? It's the press that they don't want to talk to them. Because the Raglands did a thing on Inside Edition. Let me see if I can find it here. Meghan's Ragland family. They did it in a thing called Inside Edition.
I remember that.
But nobody paid attention to that. Nobody is like nobody wants to. It says Meghan Markle's family on her mother's side share their history with Inside Edition. Meghan's ancestor was born into slavery. Here we go. It says here, Meghan. Wait, let me show you. Hopefully I won't get a strike. Let's see if we can do some of this and I'll show it to you. Okay. Let's do this because I want to show you this because let's see if we can get some of it because Entertainment. Listen to Inside Edition.
Her father, Thomas, her half-sister, Samantha, and half-brother, Thomas Jr., have made a lot of noise with sometimes embarrassing non-stop TV interviews. They've stayed out of the spotlight, but after a lot of conversations, we've finally persuaded many of them to share their family history.
Thank you for coming. I'm glad you made it.
These are Meghan's cousins on her mother's side, the Raglands of Georgia. At this countryside graveyard outside Atlanta, Georgia, every tombstone in this row carries the Ragland last name, right up to Ellen and Steve Ragland. They were Meghan's 4th great-grandparents. Steve Ragland is a classic only in America story. Who could have imagined when he was born into slavery in the year 1848, his descendant would one day marry into the British?
Can you see that? Oh, thank you very much, KN Karen. Many stories from West Africa went to Western Hemisphere because Nigeria wasn't a country during slave trades. I did DNA and it said I was 51 Nigerian, but my many ancestors sent to Jamaica first before we migrated to the U.S. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. But in Meghan's case, it's a completely different story. And I already have the genealogy for that. So let me show you this. So they're talking about Mr. Ragland, the first that was brought to the United States.
Yeah, Steve Ragland.
Steve Ragland. And then he married somebody, they had a kid, and then he married a white woman. This is why when you go through their genealogy, it's all mulatto, mostly mulattoes, colored, which is also mulatto, which means mixed race. you know, on both sides of it. So by Doria's mom inclusive is also biracial, you know, but if you look at their features, they're very fine because there was, you know, unfortunately, there was a lot of white slave owners who I'm putting a pause here because I don't want to get copyright strike. We're going to go back to that so we can watch it. So, but there was a lot of white mix. So this is why people say, I understand that they could have been from Nigeria, whatever, but the areas where they were, apparently they were brought directly because the genealogy that this lady did, it would be almost impossible for Meghan to have 43% of, given that her father is completely Irish Scottish. And let's not forget that she went to Malta with a genealogist.
Let's just call that what it is. That was a total fraud for her to get a free, all expenses paid trip for herself. That's all it was.
Yeah, but Meghan Small, but she claimed it on national television that she was from Malta because she had a genealogist.
I know. She told Rachel Ray that. I know.
On national television that she was from Malta because she even looked like the people from Malta, when we know that there's not one drop of blood of Maltese in her father's side of the family.
Girl, she did a whole post about it on the TIG that's archived that you can find it. Like, she did a whole thing about it. She went and talked to like the city's mayor and stuff and posed with them in traditional outfits. Like, she's a total, what do we call it? She's a leech. She's a parasite. She like sticks herself to other people and pretends that she steals other people's cultures. That's what she does. And
she appropriates. But the sad thing is how Invictus Game went along with it. Did you notice that?
It was disgusting. She made, you know what, instead of Nigeria having like the spotlight on them and their first time in the games, it turned all into about, oh, Meghan's Nigerian.
I wonder if that was a condition for them to be accepted in the Invictus Games.
I don't know, but I remember, and I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, but Nigeria was announced to be in the Invictus Games back in May of 2022. Then Meghan announces on Archetypes all of a sudden that, oh, I just found out, I just did my genealogy and I'm 43% Nigerian. But I don't know which tribe or anything like that, because there's no such thing as being Nigerian.
But I wonder if it's the same genealogist that told her she was from Malta, because that's where she went looking for her roots.
She probably didn't have anyone tell her anything. She just made all this cockamamie stories up. Typical.
Yeah. Let's listen to this part and see what you
royal family. Meghan's fourth great grandfather was actually property of this slave owner, plantation owner.
Exactly.
Local historian Dorothy Tuck showed me the family tree.
Her mother, Doria Ragland.
Right.
Her grandfather is Alvin Ragland. Let's skip down to her third great grandmother was Texas Ann Ragland, and she was the first one to move to Los Angeles.
Meghan's cousins only learned about their connections to her right before the big day last.
Doria, Paula.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Go for it.
I was gonna say, like, you see all this family that they have, and those phantom children who knows where they are, no access to anyone except for a junkie pot smoker.
Yeah. And you know what's incredible to me? Well, and Eugenie.
Yeah. Well, okay.
You know, but the thing is that none of these people made it to the wedding.
None of them. None of them were.
I wasn't proud enough of her heritage to invite them to the wedding.
Come on, man. I'm going to say it. She's a racist. Meghan is a racist. The fact that she focuses everything on race and race relations and everything, it shows me that she is the one who truly has an issue with people of color and that part of her family. That's what I think.
I just want to clarify something here, because the lady who does genealogy, she actually taught me something. You know that originally when one of the kids that's directly descendant from the great-great-great-grandmother of Doria was white, 100% white. Like Barack Obama, his mom is absolutely 100% white. Her whole family is white. I mean, and his father is different, right?
Yeah.
They have 50-50 of each. They have 50% DNA of each, right? For example, on Barack Obama's side of the father, his father is the one who's black. If in his father's side had been a white mix, then he wouldn't be 50-50 black, 50 black, 50 white, because there's already a mix somewhere, which lessens the percentage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's pure math. If in Meghan's case, and once there's one white lady, and then the result of those children who are considered colored at the time, that's how they called them, or mulatto, then they got married. You already don't have 50, you can only have 50-50 DNA.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you marry into something else, you can't have that, you know. And this is why I was asking that. I learned a lot with this lady, because I said, but wait a minute, but her family looks, and she said, well, Barack Obama may look black, but his genealogy is 50% white, you know, depending how far back you go. But if you go up to 6 generations and there's no mix, you know, for example, the royal family, there is black in it. And there is Asian.
Yeah.
So they go back that far. But even then, if you did a DNA test on the Queen or even Harry, he will have some mix of Hindu, because Princess Diana, there was Hindu in her family, and on the Queen's side, there's black and Asian. So you will see some of that. But for Meghan Markle to claim she's 43% Nigerian, it would mean that Doria's father came directly from a tribe in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Is not descendant of anybody in the United States. It would mean that Doria's father came directly from a tribe in Nigeria and married Doria's mom, who is a mix of many races from the United States, and had Doria Ragland. Doria Ragland, by marrying Mr. Thomas Markle, Meghan Markle is inheriting 50% of the DNA of Mr. Markle and 50% of the DNA of her mom. Her mom would be already a mix.
Yeah.
You know, so there is absolutely no way that could be, you know, and that would be that she would have like 25 or 30% at the most from her, because her grandfather would have to be purely from Nigeria, from a tribe in Nigeria. You know, and by the way, they would be able to pinpoint that with the DNA test.
Yeah.
The region and stuff like that. So Meghan said, you know, in her archetypes that she did that blood thing and blah, blah, blah. And she went directly to Malta. How can that be when there's no link of her to Malta whatsoever, other than that her great-grandmother on her father's side moved to Malta to work there, had a kid, but then they're both Irish, and then they moved to Canada, and then they moved to New Hampshire.
Yeah, she's dumb. Apparently, she doesn't know how shit works like that. She probably thinks that just because one of her family members was born in Malta or something like that, then that makes her part Maltese.
No, but she said in Rachel Ray and even in the TIG that she felt at home, that people told her that there would be a lot of people who looked like her. How she felt at home there. Am I crazy? I remember she said that.
Well, it's just like how she said in Archetypes, you know, so many Nigerian women can't believe that I'm from there. And they just get so excited. Oh, so now all the Nigerian women know that you're from Nigeria, but didn't say anything before. Like, come on, man, stuff it. Like, shut up.
But let's see if they talk about it.
They watch the wedding with pride and hope someday to welcome Meghan and her prince to Georgia.
We would love to have you at our family reunion. And
Harry, right.
And the Queen.
I look at her as a fairy tale princess.
Bill Evans is another one of Meghan's cousins on her mother's side. He lives in Los Angeles. He and Doria share a grandmother, Lily, who bears a striking resemblance to Meghan and Doria.
My wife, during the wedding, she just kept on saying, I just want to go with her and hug her.
Do you see that he has influence? He's mixed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see that, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Because she
doesn't
was all
look
by
Maltese,
herself,
though.
like she was so so reserved, and just so proud.
Unlike the
Stop
Markles,
it
the
there for a
Raglins are
second.
content to remain in the background, filled with private pride of their link to the American princess.
Yeah, right. They were not in the background. It's just that nobody wants to listen to them because the press doesn't want to get. Just like Mr. Markle, if you look at it, the press does. He went up to Oprah. Remember that?
Yeah.
He went to Oprah and asked Oprah to interview him.
Yeah, she ignored him. He dropped off a letter or something like that. Yeah, she ignored him.
I mean, and what have you heard about the lawsuit about Harry with the IPP thing? That you haven't heard anything, right?
Nothing. It's gone silent. Like, I thought we were supposed to get an update in September about it, but nothing has come up. Nothing has been said about it. I don't even know what to think at this point about it.
And I love that you posted this. This is in Meghan Small's Twitter, guys. Go check it out.
Most people didn't treat me like a Black woman.
Just look at the disgust in her face when she says it.
Woman.
Yeah, I posted that many times. Look at that.
Most people didn't treat me like a Black woman.
That's because you were telling everyone you went to school with you were Italian and your mother was your nanny until they found out she was your mother.
And look at the Black woman, the very proud white Black woman. And I love this that you posted this. look at this thing. I mean, she's getting redder than more. She's redder than Donald Trump at this point in time.
Can you imagine the clothes that she wears? Sorry, I said, can you imagine when she takes off the clothes? They must be covered in bronzer, in yuck, and just so nasty.
Yeah, I mean, look at this.
But can we discuss something though? Because Trisha in the comment brought this up, and she says that she finds it incredulous that Thomas Markle doesn't know where Doria was for 10 years. And that's the thing. I want to know what they're hiding or why they're still protecting her. Because
I actually have asked that. I have asked to Tom. I've done lives with Tom and Samantha, right?
Well, I think you were there when I sent in a super chat and I asked Thomas, hey, Thomas, blink or nod your head. Did Doria spend 10 years in cell block 6? And then he made a comment to orange is the new black. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me tell you something. I do believe that Mr. Markle would know.
Yeah. Of course
Mr. Markle is talking.
I want to, why is he still protecting them?
I don't know. Well, because he's still hoping that you just saw the interview.
I saw that
he's begging to see Meghan Markle, that he's willing to meet. I mean, this is if I were him, and I talked to Tom about it, I said, why is your father still doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Because I said that affects you guys.
Yeah.
Because that means that because Mr. Markle is only thinking of Meghan Markle. To me, that's very wrong.
Yeah.
Because he has 2 other children whose lives have been horribly affected by Meghan.
Of course.
I have talked to Tom about it. And but Tom says, well, my father has always, I guess Meghan was his favorite. And I mean, I don't know. I
understand how Thomas would see it that way, because if my parent was protecting the sibling that just put us through hell and hasn't even come around after you've been in the hospital a few times because of a heart attack. I mean, how pitiful is it that Thomas Markle has to have a GoFundMe to help pay for his medical bills?
Yeah, I actually advertised it because they asked for that. They asked me, I said, yeah, we'll help you promote it. I know it is actually, but that's the way things are. And Mr. Markle, for some reason, doesn't understand it, but as Tom said to me, I don't have control over my father. He's old enough. And this is what people don't understand. I have a sister She's my what they call full-blooded sister from father and daughter, from father and mother. And I mean, she went and wrote to the judge after I won the court cases, after everything my ex-husband put me and my son through, telling the judge, telling the minister of family that how disappointed she was. That my son should have been sent back to his father. Yeah, and you know what's worse? The minister of family called me to her office after I won, and you have no idea what my ex has put us through. And I was so happy when she called me, and the way the thing was, she said to me, Paula, you know, you are a great sister. You're this and that. I'm like, where is she going with this? Because at that point in time, I was talking to my sister. I didn't know she was doing all behind my back. So I can understand that maybe Mr. Markle doesn't know what Doria was doing behind his back. Because I was talking to my sister. I am 14 years older than she is. And she was like my baby daughter. You have no idea how much I loved her. And I said, loved her. And then I paid for, I got her a scholarship to university for her master's. I paid for everything for her. I paid for her wedding. I mean, she was like my baby, the daughter I never had. And I remember the minister of family, she sat me down and she said, we've investigated everything. And I want you to know that unfortunately, we have to put this as part of public record. And I'm like, what? And then she showed me the letter. I think I have it somewhere here. She showed me the letter. And she said that she didn't understand why the court sided with me. And that she was writing because she felt there was a miscarriage of justice. And that, of course, not to tell me anything because we're only sisters from mother and father. And given how I've treated her always as a daughter, can you? And she's saying to the minister of family, don't tell her anything. But and so I would have, and she signed it. She went to a notary public, but that she thought that it was the best thing for my son to be taken away from me and given to my ex-husband, who was incredibly abusive. You know. So when people say, how does it not know? I wouldn't have ever known. And this is my little sister that I loved and adored like anything. And to this day, in spite of the fact that when I went to Norway and I still won the court case again in Norway, she's still siding with my ex-husband. And she sided with a corrupt lawyer who put a mortgage in a house I own. And then she was saying, because the corrupt lawyer submitted those things in the court saying, well, even Robin is saying, why didn't you take more money out of her? So when people say, if you don't know, I wouldn't have found that out unless that other lady had done it. I didn't know what my sister was doing behind my back.
Sometimes family is worse than anything you'll ever meet. And it's sad. It's sad because they know everything.
Well, she didn't know it's not that. She didn't know because she knew that my ex-husband was abusive, but it was her hatred for me. I didn't know she was so envious of me because I saw some communications afterwards and it was pure envy. It's like, I read something that she said she wanted to take me down and I didn't understand. I was completely in shock because, you know, like I paid for everything for her. I mean, if she would come and say, oh, I like your shoes, I would take them off and give them to her. I remember one time I even drove without shoes because she was going to a beach party and she liked my sandals, you know? And so I said, take them. And I drove back home without shoes, you know? So yeah, you know, she was in Oslo with me and I took her to London and she did an internship at the place that I was at, you know, and she caused me a lot of problems. And she sided with my ex-husband in spite of the fact that even in Norway, it was found out that he lied. So when you say, and I see people say, Penny Lane, they know, probably they know, but I don't know if there's a gag order. I don't know because I do know. I don't know if you've tried to do this, Meghan Small. Have you tried, when you look at Doria Ragland, there's 2 court cases that come up. One, you can get the info. The other one, it says that it's been sealed.
Yeah. Well, isn't the other one that you can get the info is a Dorian Ragland?
Well,
it's Dorian.
No, there are two things. And Samantha actually guided me to this. She did give me the details.
Okay.
But if it's sealed, you're not allowed to talk about it.
Well, if it's sealed, you won't get access to it. because I've sealed documents before too. No one can access it. No media can access it. No one can get there. You can't file a freedom of information, nothing. If those documents are sealed by the courts, then they're sealed. No one can access it at all.
And you can't talk about it.
Well, if it's sealed, you won't really get any info, so you can't.
But even if you know, let's say Mr. Markle knows what it's about.
Well, let me tell you this way. If, say, I have court records sealed against you, right? But I don't have a gag order on you or a restriction, it depends on what is in the stipulations, right?
Oh.
Then you could still go and run your mouth about it. Unless if there's something, like you could look up Thomas Markle and see if he's had a gag order put on him. There's ways to search this and find this
I don't know how to do
information.
that. I'm not very techy, to tell you the truth, you know. I'm not. I mean,
Well,
I'm very learning to do this.
To be honest, I think Thomas is still protecting his daughter, like you said. And as he even mentioned, he said he would take that letter that she wrote to the grave because it was such a bad letter that was so nasty on her end. But it's like, she's done all of this to you. She's rejected you. She's basically set you up. She's drained all your funds and everything. And now you're struggling. You have to have a GoFundMe for your medical records. It's disgusting, to be honest. It's like, why wouldn't you? If I understand Thomas Markle's position as a father, I understand he doesn't want to do anything to kind of hinder his chances of meeting these two phantom hostage children. But the thing is that that girl is not going to care about you.
She's already buried him. She's already buried him.
Yeah, she said on Oprah or in that interview, I don't have a father. Right? What was it? The Variety interview or the Cut interview? I forget which one of those.
No, she said she lost her father. And even Harry on his book Spare also talks that Meghan is grieving the loss of her father.
Yeah, like if I was him, I would have released the letter. Like, let us see what she said to you. I want to know. The one thing that I really want to know is what Harry said to Thomas Markle on the phone or in that text after his heart attack when he was laying in bed. Because you remember when they were having the court case with with Meghan, they decided to retract that whole message so no one could see it because of how vile it was. Even court took it out and retracted the whole statement because they didn't want the public to see it. Yeah. So I want to know what he said there. I'm really curious I don't know.
But the thing to me, and I agree with you completely, Maxwell, you know, like for me, because what happened with my sister and even my family, the side of my family took my ex-husband's side because he was respectable. You know, he was this, he was that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he came across as this, he had his high power position, you know. And then in many ways, I'm very thankful to him because it showed me which rats were around me. Yeah. And as painful as it was, I remember sitting at the Minister of Family's office. And when she showed me that letter, I remember my thinking was, in spite of the fact that I won against all the corruption of my ex-husband and everything, they're going to take my kid away. And you know, and she said to me, in spite of everything that you've gone through, and we know we haven't always been fair with you, but you know, to us, we think that this is terrible because we have actually investigated and we know how great and how much you love your sister. And to us, we're completely shocked that she's doing that, given all the evidence that we have about your ex-husband, you know, because at that point I had managed to divorce Alf. So I was, you know, for me, and I don't know how to explain it to you guys, maybe you people can understand that. It was like, first my worry, you know, it's like when you feel a kick in your stomach. But then after the minister of the family said that, it's like, oh my God, okay, it's my kid. My kid is going to be okay. And it was immediately like my sister ceased to exist because she had gone after my son. So for me, I don't understand why Mr. Markle doesn't get the message that by him doing the things that he's doing, it affects his other two children. And it's time for him to focus on his two other children who are there with him, supporting him, being with him through heart attacks and everything. You know, Samantha Markle is seriously disabled due to MS. She has been horribly attacked online by his other daughter. So he shouldn't be asking for reconciliation with Meghan Markle or to meet Harry, because I think in one of the interviews he even said that Harry was nice.
Yeah. You know what? The fact that Meghan treated Samantha like absolute garbage and she's in a wheelchair speaks volumes about her. The way you treat your family speaks volumes in general. Okay, I always say that how a person will treat their mother or father says a lot about them. And the fact that Meghan treats her father like absolute dirt after everything he's done for her, but puts Doria on a pedestal so she can race bait and use that to her advantage, says everything. I mean, look at how white Meghan is. She looks like Casper, the friendly ghost.
Yeah. I just want to say something to Twopence here. For example, when Thomas Markle and Samantha appear on my YouTube or any other YouTube, they don't get paid anything. They don't get paid anything by me or anybody on YouTube, you know. So I don't know if they make money, and they don't get paid very much on any other places that they do these interviews, because people seem to think that they get paid millions. No, if you look, they get really obscure outlets that are not even American, because no American outlet has offered them a platform to speak. This is why they go to Australia. This is what, you know, this is what, because in the United States, there's a pact to promote Meghan Markle, not her lies, not to expose her lies. What do you think, Megan Small?
Yeah, I agree with you too. I agree.
You know, because I mean, Mr. Markle has gone publicly and asked Oprah to let him speak if he had his daughter. Then Oprah's not interested. And I do know that they have reached out to U.S. outlets, and nobody wants to give them.
Well, what is he going to say? What is Thomas Markle going to say when he does get on the news? Like, he was just recently on Good Morning Britain, right? With his speech is a little bit improving, but he doesn't say anything. Like those television programs, that the media outlets that bring him on, they want a bit of dirt, right? They want you to say something a bit useful that will bring them views. And Thomas Markle doesn't say anything like, oh yeah, Meghan did XYZ and did this, or she said this in the letter. Like, why aren't you showing your letter then? She wrote it to you. Let us see or show us a little part of it. Mention it. Give us an idea of how horrible she's been to you. But instead, he's always like, oh, she wasn't like this. She was a great daughter. I just want to see my grandkids. You're not going to see them. Like, he needs to understand that. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. He needs to stop protecting her, because the day Meghan Markle will give a shit about Thomas Markle is when he's 6 feet under. That's when she'll act like she'll give a shit about him. Besides that, before that, she's going to ignore him because of whatever lies and stories she's told Harry, right?
Yeah, I don't even think she'll give a shit about them even then. Because, here you have these things here. Okay, I'm going to show you guys, because this is in Meghan Small, the thing that we were talking about, right? This is, I believe, when the Queen was safely delivered. I think this is Charles. You can see the signatures of the doctors.
Yeah.
Okay. The delivery of a son. Yes, it must be Charles.
This was the Queen.
Yes, it's the Queen.
This one was for Princess Margaret when she had her child. This is for George, Charlotte, and Louis.
I've done this too. You know, I posted them like this.
And then Archofficial.
I even posted, because the Queen, all of the Queen's children had this thing, the one that, you know, with the signature. All of the Queen's, even Fergie, they all had the time, you know, of the princesses when they were born. They were all like this. Yeah. Princess Anne, all her kids were like this. Princess Anne's children were all like this. Prince Edward's children were also like this. Yeah. You see the signature, the time, and everything out with the easel. Prince William, Prince Harry, everybody. Except Meghan Markle.
Well, read what I wrote. I said it right there. Throughout history, royal family birth announcements have always been signed off with 4 signatures. Harry and Meghan's surrogate-born child, and there's no signatures on their announcement. And archofficial is the first and only announcement in the history of the royal family to not have these signatures. Why is Harry so special that he gets to get years and years of tradition and rule get changed for him? Why? Because you guys are going to get called racist, which you already have been.
It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with the fact that the
well,
children
that's what they always use, right?
Yeah. But and I just want to show something because you're so funny. I love the video that you did about the moon bump. I think it's the latest one. I've been watching it and laughing because people still don't get it. It's right here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here, guys. And I think it's on
evidence, prominent, fully rounded bulge, putting bulge to nearly flat. Oh, the one where to go as far as
I know where you do.
Watch this, and we'll discuss after. Look, she sticks her hand in her pocket to adjust the bump. And then, oh, let me do my hair. Oh. Like her knees are together. Where the hell did your belly go? They're touching together. They're up to her chest. And no assistance. He just gets up. Girl, if I tried that, I would have fallen over and been on my back like a turtle. There are claims that Meghan is wanting to bring her two little phantom hostages. With their heads, which once again call me the queen of keeping track of Meghan's mood. Well, it would have been off with their heads if a scam of this epic proportion was pulled over the people. Ankles. For all the new subscribers who have just joined my channel, hello and welcome. I guess you could call me the queen of keeping track in box below for your viewing pleasure. Trust me, you are going to want to watch them. Let me give you a quick refresher of what happened that day. Then I will show.
I want to pause it here because look how big that stomach is. Hello?
You know the little square in the corner? If you click that, I think you'll make the screen bigger.
Oh, can I?
Right beside where it says YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, click that. There you go.
Well, thank you for showing me that.
No problem. And then when you want to make it small, just hit the thing again and it'll minimize video evidence.
But I just want to show how big it is, because look how big that stomach is.
Look at that.
Did you guys see that? How big the stomach is, right? Let me go back. You told me
Harry's face. God, that's an ugly
thing. I'm
thing.
going to show you how big her stomach is.
Refresher.
There. Do you see how big that stomach is? And she knelt all the way with her knees touching her chest with her legs closed. I can tell you, because I've been pregnant, that the child, it's impossible for her to have done that. You can probably squat, but you need to open your legs that wide.
Yeah.
Because you have this huge, look at how huge that lump is.
And during this event that they were at, she was telling people she was 6 months pregnant and due in April.
Yeah. Martha Cardiel said that who showed a video of Catherine squatting. No, actually, I remember there's a video of Catherine coming out of a church when she was like 6 months pregnant with not Archie, Louis. And Meghan was right behind her and she tried to squat, but she couldn't. So she bent over instead to receive the flowers.
Yeah, I saw that. But there is one where I think she was pregnant with Charlotte or something, and it shows her squatting, and she's wearing thicker heels, like chunky heels. They're a little bit lower, and her legs, you don't really see it, but they are separated. It looks like her legs are together, but they're separate. I know which picture some people are referring to. If you
but her legs are, yeah, so but her legs are
her legs are apart. Yeah, they're not together like Meghan's knees were stuck together. And Catherine wasn't wearing 4.5-inch heels. And we saw the little bit of water retention that Catherine had every single one of her pregnancies. Yes, she's a slender, tall woman, but she still retained some water. Whereas Meghan, we just saw her spindly little ankles. She had nothing at all. It's crazy. Like the fact that the royal family went along with this, then allowed her to keep showing up in public with these different size moon bumps. Like, you guys think that the public is stupid? The public's not dumb.
I mean, I just, and this is the problem I have, and this is why people say, why do Meghan Markle and Harry keep doing this? Because they're allowed to, and they feel that nobody's going to ever stop them unless we, the public, keep talking about it.
Well, that's why I constantly make videos on my channel, bringing it up every once in a while, just to remind people, hey, look, this fraud came to your country. You guys, the taxpayers, had to be stuck with a bill paying for a hussy, right? Who didn't do any work, who pretended to be pregnant, used all your resources, had Charles pay for her jewelry, her expensive clothes. She never said thank you for that big expensive wedding or anything. She terrorized the staff, and she's committed one of the biggest frauds in royal history. I mean, if we were like eons ago, it would have been straight to the guillotine, right? But with her, I think people are so afraid of this whole, the royal family are so afraid of this woke brigade that they're afraid to even say anything or even like try and reprimand her in any way. And it's wild just watching it happen. It's like you've had this charlatan come into the royal family and walk all over you guys, spit all over in your faces after everything you guys have done for her, then hightailed it back to America to talk shit about you guys. The thing that pisses me off the most is that before Meghan Markle came into the family, we have never seen so much of American media attack the royal family, like take cheap shots at them and make fun of them in their movies and address them in derogatory ways. Before Meghan Markle came into the royal family was respected.
And loved.
But then ever since she came and called them all racist and made up a whole bunch of stories about them, now you see Catherine's being made fun of in The Little Mermaid for some reason. Like, it had nothing to even do with her, but they had to throw a pot shot at her there. You see Americans disrespecting and making fun of the royal family because Harry and Meghan have opened the royal family to disrespect, and the royal family have done nothing to put them in their place. So they just keep going ahead. They're like the butt end of jokes now. And that's not good.
And Harry, what he wrote in Spare, you know, with the thing with the Elizabeth Arden thing, now everybody even ridiculed Princess Diana, something that had never happened in the United States. Because, I mean, whatever it is, and this is just my opinion, I may be wrong. The only reason why Harry and Prince William are very famous and very popular is because of the mother, not because of Charles. You know, because Princess Diana was so loved, so popular worldwide. You know, but even he managed to get Princess Diana be ridiculed, something, you know, people making fun of her, the torture. I mean, I mean, it's terrible. Let me see. Teresa Brewer says here, King Charles is a fool for letting the children have prince and princess titles. That's absolutely disgusting.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. And all it took was a letter to be written, right? I want to know what the hell.
It was an article published in People's Magazine.
No. I'm talking about apparently Charles wrote a letter to Meghan, right? That was being said.
No.
Him and Meghan had some correspondence back and forth.
No. Meghan said that People Magazine said there was an article published that that now Lilibet and Prince Art. Let me see if I can find it here, because I think it was People published. Meghan Markle claims Lilibet is princess. It says, okay, here we go. In March 9, 2023, despite let me see, Time Magazine here. Let me see if it's free or if I have to use that. Okay, here we go. Meghan and Harry announced the christening. That's what they did. They announced the christening of Lilibet, and that's when they announced that they were having the titles. Let me show you here.
No, I know that, but I'm saying there was, I forget who said it.
No,
but
no. Prince Charles the King never issued a letters like he did with
No, that he wrote her a private letter, that King Charles and Meghan Markle had a private correspondence through letter. That I forget who mentioned it. Someone mentioned it, that King Charles had written a letter to Meghan Markle and they had correspondence or something like that. I gotta find it. But
I don't know, but because you see, these things are not done privately. The king has to announce it, just like he announced.
Here, M has it. Here. She was threatened with legal action. It was correspondence about the racism issue. Okay, I think I'm mixing it up then.
Yeah, because here it is. As Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced the christening of their year-old daughter, Lilibet Diana, on Wednesday, a statement sent to media called her a princess, seeming to reveal that the couple planned to use royal titles for their children. Under British royal protocol, both Lilibet and Archie Mountbatten Windsor, the couple's 3-year-old, are entitled to the titles of prince and princess as grandchildren of the sitting UK monarch. The children were eligible for the title since Charles became king following Queen Elizabeth in September. And then they go and talk about it. But what they failed to mention is that in order for that to be true, the king has to announce it.
Yeah.
For example, officially, William was eligible to be Prince of Wales when the Queen died, but it was up to the king to decide when to do it.
So I'm trying to understand why or why did they update the royal family website so quickly to reflect that they are now prince and princess title?
Because they're pussies.
Well, they should have just left it.
Yeah, this is what people were saying. I remember I did a video about it. I said, well, just because People Magazine said it, it doesn't mean it's true, because it's not People Magazine who has to grant the titles.
I mean, Charles looks like a complete, like I said earlier, a complete wet wipe by allowing Meghan and Harry to announce that their kids are now being known as prince and princess. Because you know what they're going to do next? Because then if Charles does try and take it away, or if, say, Parliament says that they shouldn't be prince and princess anymore, then what are they going to tell these little phantom hostages? Oh, their family in the UK were so racist. They took away your titles. They did this. They didn't want you guys to be prince and princess anymore. Because allegedly, Harry and Meghan are making their staff and everyone else address these phantom unknowns as prince and princess.
And what I don't know either, I don't know if you know about this, Megan Small, is whether Harry's dukedom is hereditary.
Yeah.
Or not, because I don't know if it's a life dukedom, which means that like the Duke of Windsor, that when he died, he was not, even if he had children, he was not allowed to pass on the title.
Yeah.
In this case, I don't know if that is the case here, because it doesn't say that, and the royal website, it says that he's a duke, and it seems to be hereditary, which means that Archie will be the next Duke of Sussex.
Yeah. Artificial, the kid that no one ever sees.
But again, and I go to this. All this is all happening because Parliament is allowing it to happen. Because it is not an absolute monarchy.
Yeah, but I think Charles has a hand in what Parliament does too, right? I think Charles is still protecting him.
Pardon me?
I said I still think Charles has a hand in what Parliament does with concerning Harry and Meghan. That's what I'm saying.
But you see, not really, because legally speaking, if Parliament stood by the law like they did before, that they kept the royals in check, because the monarchy is only as respected and as credible as the people who compone, or who are the part of the monarchy. So if the royals that right now are representing the monarchy are a bunch of crooks, then the monarchy as an institution is crooked. So right now, Parliament is the rod that keeps the royals in check in order to preserve the prestige of the monarchy. But the Parliament has failed the UK and the Commonwealth by not adhering to the laws there. Instead, they've been bending and ebbing away at the laws that keep the royals in check.
You know what? I'll just be completely honest here. I feel like the whole shine of the monarchy faded the day the queen died.
Absolutely.
It hasn't been the same.
Will never be.
No, it will never be the same. It hasn't been the same. It doesn't have the shine that it used to have when the queen was around. I feel like Charles is too dumb to see that he is being taken advantage of, or he wants to try and please other people. I don't think he's a good king. I don't think he can, I don't even know how to say this, but the monarchy just looks like a shit show ever since the queen passed and Charles and William have been doing God knows what. I think that with people saying, oh, well, maybe it might get changed when William comes around, but who knows by then, right?
Look at Ginger Blutz, says, hey, Yol, do you think it's possible that the royal family are in cahoots with Harry and Meghan with censoring social media, with Harry Aspen, First Amendment bonkers, Prince Harry? What do you think? Because, why are you Americans allowing Harry to say those things?
Yeah, that's what well, God, I'm not letting him. If I could say anything to stop it, then I would. But trust me, I am disgusted with the fact that a complete transplant can come into the country and start dictating about our freedom of speech and how our laws should be handled. I hate the fact that his charlatan of a wife thinks that just because she slipped and fell on Harry's dick, that it makes her someone smart and that she's eligible to be within the Senate seat or to be like as
that was ridicule. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Like, I'm sorry, just because you married a complete idiot doesn't mean that you can become president of the United States. I hate the fact that she's shoving her big ski slope nose in business that has nothing to do with her. But you know what? I do have to say, if Meghan did get into politics, I would have loved to have seen that because, she wouldn't have been able to handle all the skeletons that they would dig up, right? That would be entertaining.
I disagree because look how the media is censoring everything.
Yeah, but when they do like live debates and things like that, they can't censor that, can they?
No, but they get friendly newspaper people who only ask him the questions that they agree upon, because Meghan and Harry, and I got to give the Markles credit on this. They put themselves out there unscripted and they answer questions from people. You will never catch Harry and Meghan Markle doing that at all. In fact, they won't even talk to a person if they think that, look at that dipshit of, what's his called? Tom Bradby. When Harry said, when did Meghan say racist? And he's like,
his face dropped. And I don't know, why wouldn't you press on there? During the Oprah interview. You like this one? Yes. I'm terrible, huh? The things I post.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I think this is great. I mean,
Paula, but I want to know, seriously, because I have about 10 more minutes left before I got to run to go grab my little one. You had, when the queen was alive, your level of respect for the monarchy was pretty high, right?
For the queen, yeah.
Yeah. So what are your feelings towards the monarchy now? How do you feel?
I have absolutely zero respect for the monarchy. And what really bothers me, I don't know if you know this, Megan Small, but actually, the Constitution, not the Constitution, but Parliament could have chosen a different king. You know that?
They could have skipped over and had William, right?
Do you know that?
Well, I knew that, but I thought Now
No,
that
it's up to, let me show you very quickly before you go. And I've even pointed this many times to people.
because I always thought Charles couldn't become king because he was divorced and they don't recognize that. And
No, he could become king. But what he couldn't is he couldn't have Camilla be queen because the church, Anglican Church, said that they would never marry her. And according to the Marriages Act, Article 45, which is still valid, all senior royals in direct line to succeed the throne have to be married in a church ceremony, not in a civil ceremony.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so for example, let me show you this Royal UK / I think succession, because there's a little law there that it says there. And here we go. This is in the royal website, guys, and I posted this before. The succession to the throne is regulated not only through the Senate, but also by parliamentary statute. The order of succession is the sequence of the of members of the royal family in the order in which they stand in line to the throne. That's it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's already, it says the basis for the succession was determined in the constitutional developments on the 17th century and the Act Settlement of 1701. When James II fled the country in 1688, Parliament held that he had abdicated the government and that the throne was vacant. The throne was then offered not to James' young son, well, you know, the one next in line, but to his daughter Mary and her husband, because they felt that they would be better rulers than James, than the next in line to the throne.
Mm-hmm.
So it therefore came to be established not only that the sovereign rules through parliament, but the succession to the throne can be regulated by parliament, and that a sovereign can be deprived of her title through misgovernment. So you know that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why when people say, "Oh, it's the monarch," there's nothing we can do. You're reading this with me, right? Is my English okay? What do you understand for the people when I say the following? It therefore came to be established not only that the sovereign rules through parliament, but the succession to the throne can be regulated by parliament, and that a sovereign can be deprived of her title through misgovernment.
Huh. I did not know that part.
I've done many videos, and this is in the royal website. You're seeing it, right?
Yeah.
The Act of Settlement confirmed that it was for Parliament to determine the title to the throne. Okay, so when people say that the Queen determined that Camilla was going to be known as the Queen Consort, the Queen would have never sent that. That was an added sentence that Parliament, there were even articles about it, because the House of Lords was really surprised, even Parliament, that sentence had been added, because that had not been approved.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Queen, the monarch, cannot legally request. It is unconstitutional. It's illegal for a monarch to say who is going to get what title, because it's Parliament who determines that. And this is in black and white in the royal website. The act laid down that only Protestant descendants of Princess Sophia, the electors, and Parliament under the Bill of Rights and Act of Settlement also laid down various conditions. Oh shit. Resubmission, the various conditions. Well, it goes on to say that. You read that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you know that. Now you know that Parliament, and by the way, Charles couldn't proclaim himself king because Parliament had to offer him the throne.
Okay.
It is until Parliament says the king is dead, long live the king, that he could proclaim himself monarch.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
No, I'm flabbergasted, to be honest.
I've been talking about it for years.
Oh my God. Okay, so that changes everything.
So you see, when people say that there's nothing they can do,
they can.
There's a lot they can do. The king enjoys sovereign immunity up to a point. If he misbehaves, and this is why Republic, Republic, the movement, wanted to have Prince Charles investigated over those baggage pieces of money,
yeah,
and all kinds of things.
Yeah, I remember that.
So So a king can be removed from the throne if it misbehaves. It's just that people don't want to read. And whenever I talk about this, you have no idea how many subscribers I lose, how much hatred I get. Oh, you just hate Charles. No, I just want a monarch that's decent.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
With a backbone.
I'm crazy that way, you know?
We're all crazy. I mean, I must be crazy too. We just want a monarch with a backbone, someone who doesn't look like a wet noodle. Right?
I mean, what do you think? How do you feel about it? I mean, how do you think in the United States when people talk about it?
Right now there's so much going on that I don't think people know what you've just read. They don't have no clue about that, even though you've been mentioning it on your channel for so long. Like I'm right now kind of shocked by it. But honestly, like, I don't know. I feel like Harry and Meghan have just made the royal family just lose the shine that they used to have. And it's just not the same since the Queen has passed. It just doesn't feel the same, right? And it seems like people don't respect the monarchy the same way they did when the Queen was running the show. I mean, we see the way the royal reporters are talking about the royal members, right? Like attacking them more now than before. They wouldn't do that to the Queen. So if the reporters and the media don't respect you, then who's going to respect you?
With the public, you know, and I gotta tell you, for me, I was heartbroken because Charles is incredibly a narcissist, because he being another person who would have said, you know what, I'm too old, the throne goes to my son because he's younger, you know, he's more popular. If he wanted to do something for the good of the monarchy, I have too much baggage, you know. The best thing for the monarchy would have been for me to do the right thing, and probably he would have been very popular. People would have loved him.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. But you know what? He's waited way too long to be king, and he's always wanted that position. He's always wanted it. The smart thing would have been, okay, I'm too old, or I just want to go enjoy planting my trees at Holyrood House and planting my wildflowers. Like, he could still do everything that he wants to do, but just not the bigger work. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know what it is with Harry and Meghan Markle. I know you have to go. Before you go, what are you gonna do? You said you're gonna have a live. Are you gonna have a live today?
Yeah, I'm going to do a live today. I got to go pick up my little one from school. So I'll post it up on my community tab. It'll probably be in about an hour or so. And I'll
watch you.
Yeah, it is some big news. It's regarding my channel, and something has happened recently. And I'm not annoyed. I'm just pissed off that Harry and Meghan are given this kind of leeway to do these kinds of things to YouTubers. And let's just say that I'm gonna rip Harry a new butthole. That's all.
Yeah. But you know what I wanted to close with this, and let me give me your opinion about it. I do believe that it's not that Harry and Meghan are terrible, but it's just that because they have come to expose how rotten the royal family is, for allowing them to continue to behave that way, because they have exposed what the current royal family does to cover up certain behaviors, because we would have never known about the bullying unless, you know, Valentine Law had exposed it, because we know that it had been going on. We know that memos had been sent. We've seen how she's perjured herself in the UK. We know how she's lied about everything, the fact that they're covering for those children. So to me, what Meghan and Harry are doing is basically exposing how corrupt the royal family is right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Not because of Harry and Meghan are corrupt, but because the ones...
No, they opened our eyes to everything. I always say the only thing that I'm thankful that Meghan Markle has done is open my eyes to exactly how rigged charities are, number one. Like, I used to give money to charities and stuff ever since I got the full rundown of like Delaware accounts and how people siphon money and stuff. Just a more inept, exclusive look into it. it's like I've stopped giving money to charities. I don't give any money to any charity unless if it's the Children's Hospital, and that's the only thing that I will give to. But besides that, Meghan has opened our eyes to how fraudulent these charities are. She has also opened our eyes to what a piece of shit Harry actually is and how much the royal family did to cover his image and to show him as like the happy-go-lucky playboy that he was, when in reality, he was a true POS and a complete snake who hated his brother and and had all this resentment for his family. You know, like,
I agree with you, but you know what the problem is? For example, I have my school, right?
Yeah.
And my school is not a big charity or anything like that. But people don't like donating for my school because it's not a big charity. Isn't that insane?
Well, there's
if
some
if you are a big charity organization, and even if they know that they're siphoning money, they still prefer to donate to that than to
Here's the thing: Harry and Meghan have shown us that the bigger the charity is, the bigger the pay cut is for those that are up top. That's what Meghan and Harry have shown us. They have shown us that if you're a CEO and your company like Better Up or BetterHelp or whatever the hell Harry is a part of, Harry's getting over a 6-figure pay deal with them, right? And he does nothing. If you go and pull up the other CEOs and how much they're making, they're pulling in over $500,000, couple $1 million, right? The thing that I say now, the bigger the charity, stay away from it. Give to a hospital, give to like a sick kids program, give to help animals, give to Paula's school, right? Help people that you know are going to be helped. Like when I donate things, I donate items to the food bank, right? I take physical items down there that I know won't be like changed for something else, right? Or the women's shelter. I will take like diapers and things like that down there and hand it to them instead of giving them actual money. Like give them items.
I know. I used to have so many donors, like we used to, the World Food Organization.
Yeah.
Oh, we love them, but now they've been kicked out of the country. The Catholic Church who used to help us with this and that, their accounts have been confiscated. Yeah. The universities that used to give us books and stuff like that, they're being shut down. PriceSmart, who used to donate food and stuff like that, it's gone. Yeah. So now it's basically cash and it's all on me. I have basically fund everything, and it's and some days I feel like I go crazy, and people tell me, oh, you're not part of a big charity, and like
this is what annoys me about Harry and Meghan is that they go and give to charity. Well, they don't give, they always piggyback off of someone else who's already giving, right? But they never concentrate in their area. You know how many homeless teenagers there are in California? You know how many children, or even veterans, so many veterans that don't even get the proper care or necessities that they need. Like, why not help the people in your area instead of going all the way to like Nepal or like India or Nigeria or like Australia or somewhere? Like, I don't know.
And you know what? We're gonna close with this, but you know how Kevin Costner did that concert for the first responders.
Yeah.
Why Harry and Meghan couldn't do that for veterans?
How many years? Don't you remember that Harry was supposed to have like a big, huge Invictus like event or something like that, and then they canceled it? Huh?
With Beyonce and Coldplay.
Yeah, they were supposed to do something for charity, but then they had to cancel it because they went and signed up with Apple TV or some bullshit. But you know what? At the end of the day, all I'm thankful that Meghan Markle showed us how crooked these big charities are.
And the royal family.
Yeah, I'm thankful that Meghan Markle has shown the world how much of a POS Harry truly is and how much he hates his father and his brother. I mean, those are the only things that I'm thankful for Meghan Markle.
And I just want to close with something. You know why I find it's two-faced or hypocritical when we call out or expose Meghan Markle's lies and Harry's lies. People are yeah. When we expose the same lies from Charles or Camilla or any other royal, we're called haters or this and that, and it's like, why? People shouldn't be fanatical nor blinded. For me, my main goal is that the monarchy be respectable and respectable because they represent me. I am fucking Canadian, you know, So they are representing me.
Yeah.
So, and they're creating chaos in your country, man.
Oh, I know. I want to know one thing, though, just before we go. How does it make you feel that Charles, as his first trip as monarch, decided to go to non-Commonwealth countries?
I'm pissed off.
I mean, I think, in my opinion, he should have gone to a Commonwealth country, right?
Absolutely. And he should go to the ones where he's least popular to try to gain popularity. He should have gone to Australia because Australia is in the brink of wanting to be free. You know, he should go to like one of the countries that we're still, you know, that's what he should have done.
Yeah.
Not go to France to do what?
Buy some Chanel for Camilla and some new Van Cleef and Arpels.
And I don't understand why people keep saying that Camilla looked beautiful. I think people need glasses. That's what I'm going to end my comments with, because for some reason, she looked gorgeous. And I'm like, I know I wear fucking glasses, but I mean,
plastic surgeons did some good work on her.
The Queen at 90 years old looked younger and more beautiful, and looked beautiful compared to Camilla. Camilla has never been an attractive looking woman, period. So for people to say, even the jewels, I felt so offended when she wore when she wears the crown jewels. I feel incredibly offended that a woman with these kind of morals is wearing the crown jewels of the United Kingdom and representing the Commonwealth in Canada.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who feels that way, because I have no problem seeing Catherine wearing the crown jewels and stuff. But then I don't know why I just get such an icky feeling when I see them on Camilla. I mean, some of the crown jewels she wears incredibly well, like the big crowns and stuff, the big tiaras, she wears really well. But like the necklaces and the bracelets, when I see her wearing it, I'm like, I miss the Queen. I'm like, I'd rather see the Queen in this.
Princess Anne. I think Princess Anne is an amazing woman. Princess Anne is amazing. I mean, you know what? Who I feel a lot of respect for? Princess Anne.
Yeah, me too.
I can't help it.
Princess Anne has always been a no BS type of woman. I mean, the fact that she was kidnapped and made a joke about it, right? And just like, and we never see her flaunting anything, right? We never see her flaunting jewels. She just gets to work, gets shit done, and keeps it moving. And that's what we need to be looking at women like that and putting those kinds of women on pedestals.
Princess Anne to me is a proper role model.
Yeah, she is. She is. And the thing is, she doesn't get the attention because she's not running around pulling stupid stunts with half her ass hanging out.
Yeah, and her daughter, Zara Tindall, I love them.
Yeah, those are the women that we should be looking up to. I mean, Zara's accomplished so much, and she's never traded on the royal titles or anything. I mean, yes, being the Queen's niece and stuff gets you into other places, but she wasn't ever flaunting it in anyone's faces or anything. They're not that type of people. And that's what I like.
I just really love her, you know. She reminds me a lot of Prince Philip, because I adore Prince Philip, you know.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, we should do another live very soon.
Yeah, definitely.
We should have to do a live, because I wanted to talk to you about so many things, but we'll talk about it next time. But what time are you doing your live? In about an hour?
In about an hour, I'm gonna put a note in my community tab after I get off.
And then I'll repost it, and I'll definitely be watching, and I'll be rooting for you there.
Sounds good. You might want to get some earplugs. I might cuss a little.
Knock yourself out, knock yourself out, Maggie. You know you're always welcome in this channel. And thanks so much for taking the time for this, and go get your little kid. And thank you so very much. And go subscribe to Meghan's mole We
Thank
need to
you,
get
everyone.
her to 80,000 at least, and then to 100,000. And subscribe to our channel. Make sure you still subscribe, because YouTube, you're gonna find out with in Meghan Small live, but YouTube shadow bans people, unsubscribes, and yes, and we go through a lot. So your support of just subscribing and viewing our watching our videos, it makes a difference, because it pushes out the algorithm, because as it is, we're not being featured in YouTube.
No, they're suppressing us.
Yeah, so watch Meghan Small, because she has some big news coming, and I love your videos. You know that I always do. I'm gonna be reposting anything you have, and I'm gonna direct it to your thing. And thank you so very much for coming. And
thank you for having me, Paula. I love being here and just shooting the shit with you. I love it.
Yeah, we'll watch and we'll watch your live. I'll watch your live and anything you post, and let's support each other. And thanks very much for watching and coming. Thank you so very much.
Bye.
Bye.